Okay, welcome to the basics of Adobe Premiere Pro. This is going to be very much basic, cutting, editing footage, things like that. The first thing you're going to want to do is obviously open up Premiere, which I've done here. I haven't done anything else besides just opening up the app. We're going to go to New Project. It's going to bring you to this window that does look very confusing right off the bat, but I'm just going to go in here, we'll just say like template is what I'm going to do. And I would actually probably advise to just even call it template because I usually have one that's just like a new video. Like I'll even do this is what my usually go to is like new video. So it's already set up. I can just click into it and I don't have to go into the create new project screen again, but I'll go into template. I have another name over here. This is for your sequence. I'm just gonna do template here as well. And then we're going to click create. And it looks like this when you create it. And then we're going to go to our footage. This is my footage here. And then you can just drop in your media. And then you can drop it in oval, just like that. Easy, simple, and then you just drop in all your media from there. I am going to go to my 7 days a day die project now. That has my stuff already dropped in. We're not going to go into it from this screen, but that's how you set that up. You're going to drop into any pixels even. Like you can see all of my files here. You can drop pixels as well. Just dropping over the overlay, just like that. So yeah, that's how this works. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to my actual 7 days project now. So here is my 7 days to die photo. And right here is my 7 days to die template. It says episode 11, but I think I'm like actually on like episode 16 or something like that. I don't know. I made a lot of 7 days videos. But essentially, this is my template. Instead of making a new project, this is what I open up. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up now. Okay, this is what it looks like. You see the media pending. That means your media is loading. And on the bottom left corner, this is where you can see all my media, including this is audio. This is an audio file. I'll tone this down so it's not overly loud. This is how you can change the volume just on the go. You hold this line and move this ball up and down. So we'll make it fairly quiet so it's not too loud. See, and it just plays just like that. Pretty simple. Really easy. But anyways, the first thing you're going to want to do is cut your footage, which you can do with the cut tool, the razor tool. And then it only cuts one at a time because these are all unlinked. When you first drop in your footage, it's going to be all linked together as one thing. Wow, sorry, that was a little loud. This is how you mute footage, by the way, just like this. If you want to use a microphone, it's going to be right-click, voice record settings, and then choose the microphone you're using. As you can see, I have a ton of them because I just have a lot of audio stuff and VO headsets and things. For me, it's the HyperX. So I'd click on HyperX, HyperX Quadcast, and as you can see, it's picking up my audio now. And then you just hit this button and it'll do a countdown. It's giving me trouble. That's because it's muted. But anyways, it'll give you a countdown, 3, 2, 1. I probably don't want to click on it because I'm recording through OBS at the moment, which is what I use for all of my gaming content. So I would definitely advise OBS. I'm not going to do an OBS video right now. That might be a later thing if I do it. But there's plenty of YouTube videos on setting up OBS. So right at the bat, what I like to do, and you're not going to have as many audio files as I have. I got 2 separate game files just in case something happens. So this one's my desktop. This is all of the audio put in together, pretty much. And this is the game audio. This is my audio right here. So what I like to do is I like to unlink them. Then what I can do is I can change the game volume. Say the game volume is too loud. I can tone this down and then tone my audio up. Generally, you want your audio to be louder than the game volume. I'm gonna go ahead and delete these because I'm not using those right now. So, anyways, you can see my audio down here. Now, what I am going to do, instead of using the razor tool, because it takes, honestly, way too long using the razor tool, especially when I have everything unlinked, you can go ahead and right click and then link it back up as one thing, and then use this to split it, all like that, and then you can just do highlight and click the delete button, and then you can click heal and then click the delete button, and it just moves everything forward. But what I like to do is I like to go up and do edit, keyboard shortcuts. Change W to add edit to all tracks. You can just go down here, shorts, add, see edit to all tracks. And then if I just deselect W here, just to show you, deselect it. Add edit to all tracks. Click W, click this, and then click W on my keyboard. Like I can click just right down here actually and click W. You want add edit to all tracks, and then you want to do the same thing for Z, but you want ripple delete. Ripple delete. So like if I remove Z and then I click in here and then I click Z, just like that. And then you're gonna click OK. And what that does is if I want to say like all of this, for instance, the reason why I'm using 7 days, it's really easy to tell what footage I don't want. Like this, we're just in a base, right? This is just bowling. We're messing with storage boxes. Click W, highlight, click Z. See, it deletes it and moves everything forward. Like I can just W, like say if I wanted to delete all this, W, highlight Z. Because we're just in a base. There's nothing entertaining here. Highlight Z. See, this is where all the interest is right here. This is what we want to keep. All the fighting and everything, this is what we want to keep, right? Now, another thing I do want to show you is this. I have my little animation going right here. Now, this hit the like button animation is just something I pulled off the internet, so I can't show you exactly how to make that. But if I take my character, you can see my character slides on in, just like that. I can show you how to do that real quick. That'll be more of like probably a later video to go more in depth with that. But for the most part, this is a simple sliding transition. I don't think I even messed with the position. No, I didn't. So if I go ahead and remove these, you can go over to video transitions, and I want a slide. Let's do a slide. See how that just slides on in? And then I'll do another slide. And I will switch this to be the opposite. Oops, maybe not. Oh, there we go. It's reverse. I thought it was this. It's reverse. Click reverse on, and see it'll slide away. These won't do that. I thought they would. It's been a minute since I messed with it. Because what I do is I just use a template. So this is already in there for me, already made. I don't remake this. I just use a template. See, and it just slides away just like that. And this, hit the like button. I have no transitions or anything on it. I've simply just moved it in though, and I've scaled it how I want to scale it. See in the top left how I can use my mouse and I can like set the scale. I've just scaled it to the size I want. And then I click Control Z to move everything back how I had it. Delete this. And you can also see the transition is a different length. I can do that by grabbing here. And I can decide if I want it to be a slow transition or if I want it to be a really fast transition. See how much faster that is? Opposed to, oops, now I can't grab it. So you can zoom in right here with this. If You need to get even closer, just like that. Now let's say I am, for instance, I find myself needing to do this. Sometimes I need to move something, like move audio or something, or copy something, or as such. Let's say there's something here that I want to copy, and I want the same sound, let's say, to play over here. See, it just went over my audio. Well, if I don't want that to happen, I can click click the locks, and it'll go downhill. If there's like a sound or something I want to play, or if I want to replay something down here, something around them lines, you want to use a piece of the audio somewhere else. I've had to do that before. Man, see all that. Now let's say I don't know what I'm saying here, but let's go right here.
Oh, landmine, seriously?
Okay, so let's say this is another thing that I will edit out. Let's say I just said a swear word right here, which I obviously didn't, but let's just say hypothetically I did. There's a couple ways I go about doing this. One, I can just use my cuddle and then just delete it altogether. Or the other thing I would do is I will remove the middle.
Oh, landmine, serious?
So it'll just play like that.
Oh, landmine, serious?
Like say instead of 4, I select the F word or something.
Oh, landmine, serious?
You can just cut out the middle section. Oh, another thing you can do, obviously, is put in a sound, like a bleep, or a quack, or... Because sometimes I've seen people use duck sounds in place of it. I've used the bleep before. The other thing I've done is I've used effects. Like, I've had a YouTube show on Shadowed Films, where I had a swell that was said by Froze, where I just did an explosion, so it just did, like, F and then explosion. To where you couldn't really hear the swell word, because I wanted to leave it, but I didn't want to cut it, because I didn't want to have like just a obvious cut. So you can use effects like an explosion or a gunshot in between, but it's not as obvious. That's another thing I would do when it comes to those. You can also kind of highlight your tracks with these. These were like choose dominant tracks for if I'm copying something in, generally. It'll tell you if you highlight over these what they are, like toggle track lock, toggle track toggle. I already showed you how to do that. Toggle sync lock, solo track. I don't know what solo track does because I just don't use it. I honestly don't use these either. I just don't. One problem you can run into is if I just remove these over here. Like, let's say if I turn off the snap and timeline, sometimes I've had this problem where these don't snap together and they just overlap each other. If that's happening, they're just not snapping. It's because this is turned off. I've done that before. I've somehow turned this off. Seen they would snap, and it was snap according to where this blue line is as well. If you find your preview when you're playing it is very glitchy and stuttery and freezing, that can generally mean your computer is just having a hard time processing it. You can go down and click on this full for resolution and drop it down to say a full resolution. I can still tell what's happening even though the resolution's down. So I don't really need it in full. I use it in full because I have a powerful enough PC. It's not a problem for me. But for you, maybe it is. And in the effects tab with more transitions, you can see there's tons of transitions here. Like, let's say I want to transition. I'll just do a hold cut to here. Let's say I want to transition these two scenes. I can easily just go on here, and I like to a lot of times use this transition, this adhesive dissolve. See how it just kind of blends them together? I like adhesive personally. a lot of times. You'll find me using adhesive for stuff. Another good one is dip to black, especially for the seams in particular, because it's kind of dark here. See, like that was a pretty clean transition. A lot of times I'll just hold cut though in my gaming videos like this. I'll just hold cut to stuff. I really don't use transitions that much in my gaming. Maybe I should, but I don't know. I get lazy with it sometimes. I usually just cut out the bowling stuff. That's usually how I edit. Let's say something interesting happens in the kernel. What I would do is I'll move my scale up. Like let's say this arrow. I want this arrow. I'm gonna do a red box around this. So that's how you get shapes. Shapes is downhill. You can click on here. There's different shapes. And I'm gonna do a stroke. See something of interest happen over here. Let's say hypothetically. See how it's out of sync too? Like it's really out of sync. What I can do is this will take you some time playing with it. But if I go to the start of this clip, I just need to find it. It's not even in this clip here. Okay. Alright, so it's right there. So it starts there. So I can go here and check this little ticker up here, toggle animation. Then I'll set the keyframe here. What keyframe is it tells it this is the position I want it in. Now it's moved out of position, right? So now what I can do is click off, we select it, we select position, slide to the new position, and what's this? See how it tries to keep with it now? Now if I move out of it, do it again. See how it's sticking with it now? Unlike before. Now it's kind of out of the scale. I can also set the scale where I want it. So I can do this with scale. Say I want this to scale. Oops, my bad. I wanted to do it for the shape, not the actual image. I wanted to scale the shape out like this. And I can even change the shape position even as well if I wanted to. Like I can change it a little like that. Well, it's more in line with the object. I won't get this detailed with it as I'm showing you here. I'm trying to make it more like, see, and I can even move the shape. I don't have to move the video if I don't want. If I'd rather just move the shape, I can move the shape. But I'm gonna move the. I move the video, not the shape, unless it's airsoft content. Then I will move the hit local because obviously I don't want the video to move. Seeing this moved out of sync there. I can move this back. See, just like that. It's pretty simple. I've done this for a little while, so I got a little more experience with it. But see, just like that, really easy. I say really easy when I've played with it tons and tons of times. So I guess I shouldn't say it's really easy because it might take you a minute. Nothing you can do is if you have multiple stuff on your screen, like this stuff. I can click this eye and just hide it to where I don't see it. Keep in mind though, is if you have this eye on and you export the video, this would be hidden in export. I've had troubles where I've exported a video and I found that stuff was missing because I've left one of these on. Or I found extra stuff was on the overlaid because I've accidentally unclicked one of these that I wasn't supposed to unclick. With my end screen, I do have a transition here. I dip to black, and then I dip to the end screen, and then I have an audio transition, which is exponential fade to make the music fade in. If I go and we'll just play the music here. Fair warning, the music is a little bit on the loud side. See, just like that. So it fades in just like that. So, yeah, it's pretty straightforward to do the simple stuff. Hand tool, this little hand tool is so you can grab, move around. I use this if I am zooming in on an area and I just need to move up to it. I don't really use this with gaming content, though I'm going to be honest. I mostly use this on like my airsoft content or hitmokes and things. I've used this. I don't really use this so much for gaming. Another thing you can do is Control T. Sorry, not Control T, just click T, and you can do text. I will use this if, for instance, I want to put a thought in, like if I'm like, say I'm not talking here, I can say something like, I don't know, like if the zombie gets me or something, I can say, I thought I would have him, or I can say like, this was a bad idea. Yeah, we'll go with that. Oh, subtitles, for instance, with the airsoft content, I use subtitles. You double click the first time. There we go. Just click, double click on it, triple click, and then go to fill. And then I like to do green. For me personally, the reason why I use green is because it's really bright and it kind of just stands out. And I can click bold. For me, green just stands out. It stands out a lot better than, say, white, in my opinion, because it just kind of glows. Another one that's good is cyan. If you prefer cyan or yellow, I would generally stay away from red. And the reason why I stay away from red is because like to use red for enemies or threats or instances like that. So I will usually use red for enemy NPCs. Like if there's enemy NPC dialogue that I want to subtitle, I will use red for that. For me personally, though, I use green. That's just what I personally use for me personally. So it just kind of glows. It stands out. I would go with bright colors. I wouldn't use something like this. It doesn't really stand out. Any like darker colors that blends in, I would stay away from for subtitles because you generally want them to be very obvious. Another thing with using colors that I used to do in other videos is I would use, for instance, green for me, and then my teammate or my buddy would be another color. So, like, if I talked, it would have this for me, and then if my buddy talked, it would have this for him. That's what I would do a lot. Now, if you have a misspell, like, see how this is misspelled? You can click on this, go to text. Now, text for you might not be available. If it's not, go to window, go down to text. Like, if I uncheck it, come on. Oh, it probably won't because I'm on it. Okay, it's not checking it. But if it's not showing up, just click check. Like these, I can check it. See, it'll open production now that I've checked it. Hopefully it'll close now. It's not closing. Okay, so if I do something, like sometimes I will open something, I'll say, I'll move something like this. I can move. See this? I do this a lot by accident. I'll grab something by accident, and I'll instantly just end up moving it. See how annoying that is? Now I can't wholly even see it. So I'll do window workspaces. we set to save layout, then fit. This is how you can change the zoom as well. And I'll just go back to my effects. We set to save layout is gonna save you a lot if you end up changing some setting or doing something dumb. I've done that a lot, especially with this stupid thing right here, which tracks the audio. As you can see, it tracks the loudness volume. I've moved this stupid thing a lot in other areas just by misclicking and moving it. So yeah, keep mind of that. This tool we're not going to get into today, the pen tool. That's going to be its own video. There's a lot with the pen tool, so we're just not going to touch that in this video. Track select forward. This is another good tool. So what this does is, let's say, I don't know, I cut something out here. This is where I'd hit Z and it would track it forward. I'm just going to hit delete. So I could, again, highlight this, delete this one, move it forward, or I can click this select tool. This highlights everything, and I can move everything like this. That's what the select tool does. I generally just like to just delete this section. It's just easier and it's faster. You can also look at, instead of using preview, another thing you can do is if I zoom in, you can also look at the images on file just like this. This is really zoomed in though. If you have like a lot of clips, it only shows the full image though. But yeah, I usually just leave it kind of like this. I will leave it really shrunk down though if I'm doing a lot of work, but generally it's somewhere around like not even that. I think when I work on it, it's like this. Yeah, it's about like that. I like to leave my audio big because I need to see where talking is happening, like right here. There's no communication and there's no zombie fighting, so I just go boom, boom, delete. Actually, I'd use Z, delete, just like that, because there's nothing of interest. There's no talking going on. There's nothing happening. Boom, boom, Z, just like that. Really easy, really easy. I mean, W and Z, like look at that. I can cut so much stuff in a quick GIF, and then Control Z it if I've made a mistake. So that's the basics to doing video editing in Premiere Pro. Hopefully this was pretty straightforward, and we'll get into more of this later. I just want to leave this as a pretty basic video of the basics of doing Premiere Pro. And that's about as basic as I can really get it. If you put in, this is another thing actually I'm going to do. Let's say, yeah, like this image. Oh yeah, see, this is a good show right there. See how it just replaced my footage? That's exactly what I was talking about. Drop this in. See how it doesn't line up with anything? It's not lining up. Now it lines up. Just like that. Yep. So yeah, that's the basics of Premiere Pro. And we're gonna dive into it further in later videos. Hopefully this was pretty straightforward and easy to understand. And I will see you in the next video.